All right. Welcome to the show, folks. If you don't know me, my name is Mike Asherbrenner, professionally known as the Redneck Connector and proud and humble leader of the Hounds of Business community. And there's April Wyatt, the one and only. She is always working hard backstage in the Hounds, everywhere to lift up everyone. So thank you, my friend. How are you today?
Oh, you're most welcome. I am so excited to meet these lovely ladies. The only person
Yep.
I know, because she's part of the Hounds, is Amy. And so to meet these other women is just phenomenal. So I can't wait for this to get started. Let's go.
Well, we have Aura, but you've been so busy with Women's Month, you didn't have a chance to sit back and chill. So Aura just came in the back door. She was brought by Jennifer Thompson, I Am Magazine. So I am thrilled. I'm so excited. So we ain't got time for me to do my antics, right? We're just going to get straight into Women's Month. And folks, if you're new tuning in, we had our kickoff with Kindness Worldwide. Uh, Kevin Smith, we had the female ambassadors across the globe. It was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So now this is week one of hashtag She Wins March, and they're behind April Wyatt. That's all the promotional partners that are backing this, right? Brand Face, shout out to you. I Am Women's Magazine, the men's division. Living with Intention, April Wyatt, right there. Kindness Worldwide, Kevin Smith popped in the back. America's Supermom Company, she is the one, Lachelle Atkins, she is the one that's going to be hosting that Zoom party. So the ticker down at the bottom, folks, there's your invitation. It's on my profile. We'll put it in the comments after the show. It's going to be a great celebration, right room. Get to meet people, no pitch slapping with a P. You don't have to do that when you're in the right room, right? You just join the party. So, folks, today, hey, have fun. It's late for most people. You probably have kids, business, all kind of things. So, we appreciate you being here. We'll do our best. Put into the comments, share your thoughts, share your experience in the topics, and ask questions. And we'll do our best to throw it up there as we can. Other than that, let's see. I want to give a shout out to the amazing lady running the backstage, so I don't have to. April Wyatt, go ahead and tell them real quick about this retreat because every time you
Oh,
have a retreat, people, it's not a marketing thing, people just keep talking about it, and that's why they fill up like instantly. So tell them if how many spots are left and what to expect real quick.
oh, thank you, Mike. This is such a retreat that really is near and dear to my heart as I love bringing people together so that way they can learn to navigate through their own nervous system, right? Through breath work, through some Osho meditations, which are movement meditations. We're about cultural too, being cultural experiences, going to this waterfall that you see in this picture. That's me at the base of this amazing waterfall. Doesn't do it justice. And we also have experiences by going to a local children's Balinese dance school. So we really want to immerse ourselves in the culture and be part of this beautiful space in Bali. So I do only have 6 spots available. So if you're interested in that, you can reach out to me directly and I can give you more information. So thank you so much, Mike. I appreciate that.
That's okay because you do so much, and that's what we do here, right? We let people know where good things is. So so you can scan the world's tiniest QR code on here,
Right
or
down there.
yeah, or you can go to April Wyatt's profile. There's all kind of good stuff on it. So thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. And this is for professionals, busy people juggling multiple balls, executives, entrepreneurs, nonprofit leaders, just busy people. And the impact here is extraordinary. And here it is. All right. Hashtag She Wins March. Sign up and you're going to get emails, not sales pitches, not infomercials. You're going to get notifications reminding you of power panels like this and then in the end of the month celebration on March 26th, 2 to 4 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Have a blast. If you can only make some of it, make some of it, right? If you can make all of it, better off. You're going to have giveaways, networking. This is going to be interactive and a chance for you to mix and mingle with people that you could collaborate with, right? Get to know, like, and trust, move that natural relationship and see what happens. You don't need a sales pitch. You just need to be, right? Just share, get to know each other. So this is the right room for folks like you, if that's it. And real quick, want to give a shout out because you know the old adage, right? Behind every good man's a good woman. Well, we're flipping the script in March, right? Hound style. So we've got Curtis Rivers. Thank you for bringing this show, making it possible, brother. Without support like you, we can't make a bigger impact and reach. This man, Hollywood stunt man, turned soul guide. All right, he's still got his toe in the water. I ain't supposed to talk about it, but he's doing stuff right now. Y'all see on TV. But this man, he built the dream life from nothing and said, I want to be happy. Not happy anymore. I want to do something different. I want to help other people like this. So folks who are feeling stuck, lost, recalibrating, don't be ashamed. We all go through it. I went through it like 6 times in like 2 years, right? So this is the guy. Go to his profile, Curtis Rivers, curtisrivers.com. He's the most unpushy guy you'll ever meet. He's a guide. He loves people. That's why he's my choice. So appreciate you. Thank you for bringing this Power Pack panel and all you do to elevate everyone, especially during Women's Month. Yes. And it wouldn't be complete if I didn't shout out another Hounds lady who has built some extraordinary, impactful things in healthcare. Beverly Neal Clinton, Healing for Wounds. They do far more than just that, but this is a lifesaver. This is people who are caregiving and medical professionals. Wounds last and last. They have a real solution, and we want to make sure that people know about that. So thank you, Beverly, for also bringing this show and all you do in the healthcare sector to make real change, because we know the healthcare sector got issues. We're not going to go, and that's another show. But the way we do it, especially Pioneer Women, are making real solutions. So we want to celebrate her, celebrate them. Love having you in the pack, my friend. You are something else. So without further ado, let's run this intro and get these amazing ladies up here. What do you think?
Let's get it started.
I can't wait. Well, do you want to hit the button, or are we going to fight over it?
You're actually going to let me hit the button?
If you hit the right
gosh,
button.
This is just amazing. Yes, I'm hitting that button.
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high-level, heart-centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Asherbranner, the Redneck Connector. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
All right, folks. Influence without identity collapses. That's what the theme of tonight is. And wow, if you don't know who you are, understand who you are, then just like being thrown in the river, the market's going to decide for you. So no hype, no surface empowerment. This is earned leadership. These are from women who have been there, done that, still doing it. All right. So they're going to speak from experience as well as knowledge. Let's bring them on up. Open the gates. We're going to bring up, we have Chrystal, Clifton. We have Aura Martinez and Meshell Baker. How are you extraordinary women doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm behaving, and it's very hard. My audience knows. They're like, man, I've been around a house full of women, so I know how to behave. When I'm outnumbered, I know it. My dadgummit. So, how are you today, Meshell? This is our first real interaction, so I am excited about this.
Mike, if I was doing any better, I'd be two people.
We're going to get along. Oh, my goodness gracious. Well, the isms in here is going to get real quick, isn't it? And last but not least, Dr. Roseanne. She is absolutely amazing. We had her on the show a couple weeks, and that's where we got Chrystal Clifton. I said it correct. So welcome to the show. How are you? Uh-oh. Are we having a mic issue?
No,
no,
I don't think so. Am I back? Okay.
Woohoo!
StreamYard's been giving us stuff. But so yes, ma'am. So you're doing good today?
I am. I have my shirt on that, she wins. I wish it said she wins, but we're all gonna win. So
my daughter asks me every time in the morning, she says, "What time is it, Dad?" And I yell, "Time to win." And she hates it. Absolutely hates it. Now she just wears a clock like Flavor Flav, because I ain't telling her. All right. Well, let's get to it. If you don't mind, I'm going to go around the room. So we'll start with you, Chrystal. Just tell us who you are and who you serve, what your business is all about. Just give us a little synopsis.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Well, I'm very excited to be here, and who I serve are entrepreneurs, business owners, and my background is really in alignment and finding the foundations, so that whether you're a luxury hospitality brand, that's my background, or you're somebody who really is value and service led, and you just want to get your voice and your desire to get out in the market to be seen and heard and get the revenue going. What I do is align those pieces, and this really speaks to my heart. So I tend to find the missing link between who you are and your business and the revenue with sales and marketing. I'm a very clear, concise business growth strategist. I'm kind of the secret agent people bring in when their sales are just not quite where they should be.
Yeah, you're brilliant. Y'all being modest. That's okay though. I get it. Brilliant. Because as I was talking, as she was talking, I was getting so excited because I said, I've actually I figured out the hard way. That's the problem. I said, where were you 3 years ago? My goodness. So I appreciate you have a great, brilliant strategy mind. It's really good. So let's go to Aura. All right. So Jennifer Thompson of IM Magazine, right? Power partner of hashtag She Wins March, introduced me to you. And I'm telling you, it's like PB and J in the same jar. It was unbelievable. I'm still talking about it 20 years later. So tell the folks what you're all about and who you serve.
Yes. My name is Orlena Martinez. I'm a self-discovery and empowerment coach, helping women gain total clarity in their purpose so they can wake up to daily fulfillment and certainty. Now, even though I mainly work with women, I have worked with men as well, because who doesn't want clarity? Who doesn't want more well-being? Who doesn't want to connect with themselves? So that's the work that I do, the self-discovery and the empowerment. I actually have a background, really quick, if you don't mind, in nutrition, since I was certified as a nutrition and wellness consultant. But that work is what led me to do the work that I currently do.
Oh, I love it. Everybody talks about careers like it's some linear path. I don't know. The people I know every day is like spaghetti. It just happened. And then we resist it. So we're going to get into that talk, but thank you for that.
Yeah.
And last but not least, Meshell, my goodness.
Yeah, so great to be here. Thank you for this.
Please.
And everybody here is amazing. So I'm known as the Chief Confidence Igniter, and my gift is actually turning those overwhelmed and frustrated leaders and organizations into high-performing ownership cultures and individuals. My passion is delivering measurable behavioral changes so leaders can track and CFOs can defend, right? And it really is important to me that I'm addressing the root causes of, the overwhelm, the disengagement, the inconsistencies in execution and productivity. And I'm looking at how we do that in 30 to 90 days by tracking it and really helping people to become the confident individual they want to be. And again, it's mission-driven leaders, business owners, and organizations is where my preference is to work. And I absolutely love what I do.
But who invited you? Who connected us?
Lisa Hammond and I know each other quite well.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. She gets the credit or blame, right? So there you go. Lisa, and she is going to be, sneak peek.
Yeah, I think she's coming on in a couple of weeks. Yes,
she is. So there we go. If you have a good experience, if you don't, maybe she changed her mind, right? Y'all got to get used to my goofiness. All right. We have to, if I don't do it, the audience is like, well, he's on something. All right. So let's get going. I'm going to do a round robin. I want to start with the root of it, which is identity, right? So here's the question to the panel. When did you realize influence without identity doesn't work? And it could be a moment, breakdown, reinvention point. When did you realize influence without identity doesn't work? Let's see. Let's go with who wants to go first. It's like everybody want to go. Go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead, Aura.
All right. So I actually realized when I started noticing, and for those that are listening, this is so valuable. And this is why inner work is so important. It was so hard for me to be visible when I first started in my business, believe it or not, because I felt deep down that I had to look a certain way, right? And so it wasn't until I discovered that I had a wound, and it's that I had a hatred towards myself. Believe it or not, I used to hate my curly hair, but that's because my parents, being from Dominican Republic, we have been taught that curly hair is considered bad hair. So it wasn't until I healed that I was able to show up so powerfully. It was then that I started really making the money in my coaching business. So I started seeing opportunities pop up. I started seeing that I would draw. So that's when I understood that unless, I don't know, I hear an echo. I don't know if it's me.
I'm gonna mess with you and say I don't hear anything. Keep going.
Okay, I'm gonna keep going then. I'm gonna keep going then. And that's when I understood that unless you can see yourself truly, see the beauty in you, embrace all parts of you, and own who you really are, there is no way you can have the success that you want, the influence that you want, the impact that you want. So that's when I understood how important that is.
Wow. That's just powerful. And the fact that you can just say it like that, that's going to inspire so many people because we think we're the only ones, right? When you pull up Facebook, you never see a clogged toilet, right? Like, so we're the only one with a clogged toilet, right? I feel you. And I am, wow, amazing. I feel like we should go to the chief confidence igniter on that one. Let's roll on that one. So go, what would you like to add? What was your thoughts here?
Oh yeah. So one, like I'd really like to say, so when we're, talking about identity, we're just talking about the characteristics of what make you uniquely you, right? That thing that makes you authentically you. And it is not something that we naturally come by because we live in a society that tells us what we need to, ought to, should be doing. And I did that. So my background is I am actually formerly incarcerated. I've been homeless, done a bunch of, shady crap, and then turned my life around and got educated and started working for Fortune 500 companies in sales, pharmaceuticals, medical devices, biotech, and was incredibly successful because I knew the disadvantage to where I was. I knew that I was blessed and advantaged to be in those circumstances. Now, when I stepped out from that after doing that for 20 years and became an entrepreneur, I had immediate success on stage, right? People had an affinity for me, and it was because of my authentic way of being. However, I had built my confidence on my external accolades and achievements. So internally, I wasn't trusting that these people who were just wanting to be, oh, you should do this. Like, so I became immediately overwhelmed by all the shoulds and do this and couldn't figure out what to pick and spending money on this coaching and this training and this, so anytime somebody walked up to me and told me this was going to make me be able to do that, I was purchasing it, whip out a credit card or whatever. And it was because I wasn't rooted in a clear identity of who I was, what I was called to do, and how I was called to serve. So taking a step back and getting clear on that again and deciding who I am and what my purpose was allowed me to now build my influence and be unwavering in that. So like, I don't apologize for who I am. Like I am the chief confidence igniter and I will light you up. People say it all the time. Oh my God, I feel better for being around you. And that's what I teach and coach and train people how to do. Like, be rooted in who you are and be amazing everywhere you go. It's not about the circumstances, it's about who you are and what you decide to be.
Holy cow, folks, comments. Hey, dude, we bringing it. We ain't even got the Chrystal yet. I'm like, my goodness. Wow. No, because I know people tell me stuff. They hide it. I've been there. Everything you're saying, yes. So Chrystal, we got to go to you because you're not shy. You've been through this journey. Go ahead.
I'm not shy. And I have a little different of a perspective in a great way. So for me, right away, working in hospitality my entire adult life, identity is key. So from wineries to hotels to restaurants, I always saw that if the values and the identity of the chef or the team or the service were not in place, it never works, right? Nobody wants to go to a restaurant and be like, are you Chinese? Are you tacos? Are you Italian? I'm not quite sure. And those places, by the way, really only should exist at Vegas at a certain hour, right? So I always worked through all the businesses I owned through this identity, like who we are, what we do, what we stand for. And then I kept getting people ask us like, well, how'd you get in the White House? Or how'd you get to the Michelin star? And how'd you build the business? And I didn't even know it was a thing. It was just what felt right. And so when I started seeing other businesses and the idea of entrepreneurship started growing around me, I started realizing, well, you just got to fix your foundations. I mean, Ritz-Carlton style, ladies and gentlemen, serving ladies and gentlemen, or I would talk about whatever we did at Four Seasons. And you could just see the light bulbs in different entrepreneurs. Treat your business from your core values of who you are, because you think about it. That's what everybody wants to follow. Nobody goes to a taco stand thinking they're getting French food. So like, you just need to deliver who you really are and who you are from the core. And the rest really does become easy. So and I love your curly hair, by the way. So I just think, just own it, be it.
Yeah. And if somebody doesn't, well, they're not coming on my show. How about that? So here we go. But very well said. And that's putting the horse before the cart, in my opinion. and it's super hard to do by yourself, if not impossible. I've struggled with this for so long until the one and only Tanya Eberhardt flew in like angel wings and said, "Let me help you." It was just because you can't see the forest from the trees, right? And that's why you ladies exist, right? Because it's hard to do this on your own, if not impossible, a lot of times. And the time and energy it would take is putting you so far behind your impact and mission. And that's why we have folks like you. Like, you can come in and help us get there quicker. And this is phenomenal. So we're going to keep you on. I'm going to ask you this question first, Chrystal. When someone in a reinvention season, so someone's in this reinvention, and there's a lot of folks. We got tons of folks in our orbit, our ecosystem, 40s, 50s, even 70, right, in this. How did they separate who they are from what they've done? That gap.
Yeah. So, well, I've reinvented my own self many times. In fact, when I was telling my dad and my kids, hey, by the way, I got asked to be on the show, and they asked me this question, they all just started laughing, like, you are queen of reinvention and resilience. And it's because I do believe if you know who you are and where you operate from, it's easier to make certain decisions about where you're going. Doesn't matter what industry, right? Ultimately, what I've learned that people confuse their identity with industry, but identity is so much deeper than that. It's not what you do, it's your being, right? It is your values, it is your instincts and the kind of problems that you might be excited to solve for somebody, or maybe the kind of ways you want to serve somebody, because I believe that selling is serving. So when we get down to like, what do we really believe to be true? What do we really get lit up about helping others with? That's who we are, and we can apply it anywhere. And I've had to do it many times over. I mean, in the beginning of my business, I was the janitor and the bookkeeper and the winemaker and the sommelier. And then over time, you just realize, well, it's just about how I show up to all of those roles that matters more than me doing those roles. And I think in a very fast-paced world, we tend to see a reward for what we do more than who we are. And I think slowly over time, people are starting to recognize, hey, who I am is more important than what I do. And there's beautiful, ladies on the panel that help with that. Like, when you own that and you love that, a lot of what you do just becomes a little bit more aligned.
Right. Because far too often, correct me if I'm wrong, people are building businesses because it's lucrative or this, or they see other people doing it. And then they become, like a fish out of water. Right. I've done that. That's why I'm so confident to say it. I was like, well, I got to be this way. Could you imagine me wearing a suit, speaking plain English and really proper all the time? Yeah, that's what the problem was. It wasn't my offer. It was weird.
Well, and I think that's where marketing can kind of get distracting because it's trendy. And that's where you and I first recognized, like, oh, we are so aligned, because the more you own who you are, the more authenticity about who you're going to be for somebody else resonates. And I will say, in today's time where AI can be doing anything, people don't want anything being marketed. They just want authentic. They want to know, is this real? Is this true? And then my kids are always teasing me. They're like, Mom, AI made that. I'm like, they did? Oh man, I thought I was getting good. So it just, when we know and we can identify that is who we are, the reinvention doesn't matter, because then the authenticity matters.
You're absolutely right. Marketing fatigue and a trust deficit the size of the national debt, right? It is exhaustive. So when you show up as you, and hey, spoiler alert, folks, I've seen this. I've seen really in tune people pull out their flip phone like it's 2010 and stuff. And because now it's not AI generated, right? You're just walking around stumbling, because that's what people want. So you hit the nail on the head. See, super pro right there. So thank you for that, because you're spot on. You horse before the cart, get clear internally. Boy, it makes the marketing and external clarity so much easier. God, I wish I'd known that years ago. And even when I knew it, Meshell, I didn't listen. I was a hardhead. It's not a costume, So let me ask you this. And you engineer confidence systems. So what breaks first when identity isn't aligned? Did I mute her? Somebody did. There we go.
Basically, your confidence. You will start to reach out and seek. You will look for other people to affirm your decision. So, like as a leader, instead of you leading and, going in, this is the vision, this is the path, this is the plan, this is how we're going to do it. And we can strategize what that outcomes looks like. You're more in a questioning, right? So you're asking your team, right? You're asking the people if it's okay. So you are looking for people to acknowledge you, and then you're more managerial. So you're telling people what to do because you don't have the ability to give people autonomy because of your uncertainty. So it creates a lot of internal uncertainty, which then turns into chaos. So the way that person operates, it just puts a lot of pressure on an organization and it starts to fall apart. So you may not see it initially, but you will see it over time. And that's what I find. Most people think they're leaders and they're actually managers just by the way they talk to people, right? Just by the way they give instructions, just by the way they give feedback, right? It's amazing how many people will say, no, that's not right. That is an incorrect way to lead people. Like, oh, I'm curious. So why do you think that's going to work? Oh, so have you thought of, right? So a leader actually has invested in how they communicate, and all that communication, that ability to communicate in a powerful way that even if somebody's wrong will still empower and encourage them, it dissipates and disappears. Oh, wait, Mike, we can't hear you.
But what is the tech gremlins doing today? My goodness gracious. So the joys of live stream. So don't invoice me when I ask you this. You promise? You good? Okay. So it sounds like you're saying it's an internal job. Like, because we think of confidence, we're like, just walk around and strut like George Jefferson. But what you're saying is look, the confidence comes from certainty. You understand what's at play here. Your ego's in the back seat. Now you're operating on a high level, right?
Yes.
Is that what you mean? So when it comes to operations, how does that look in practical terms? So we have entrepreneurs watching, we have operation leaders. How does that show up? Like, how do you know it? Like, that's it.
Yeah, so this is where you start to invest in yourself and you're doing assessment. So one of my favorite, so DISC and Gallup Strength Finders are the top two that comes to mind. And like my other one is EQ, right? Which is emotional intelligence. So you're starting to assess yourself. You're investing in yourself because what you're looking for is you're looking to leverage your strengths, and you're looking to round out and grow any area of, they call them weaknesses. I call them areas of opportunities, right? So you're looking to get stronger and strengthen those, but you don't know what to strengthen until you become self-aware. And the only way you become self-aware is when you invest in yourself, right? You will never, ever, never, ever go wrong by investing in yourself. That's a misnomer. So what happens to people who are wealthy, people who are well off, people who love their life, they have invested in themselves, because that doesn't magically happen because you want it. It happens because you create it, and you will not create it unless you get out of your own way. The battle is not external. It's always 100% internal.
See, this is what I love about this panel and the one we got coming up here soon. This is wisdom and experience. Like, you guys, you didn't read this out of a book. Y'all ladies live this. This is why, and it's on a deeper level, and it's not coming from me. This is great, because you're absolutely right, 1,000%. And internal job, it makes it, you don't have to perform when you got it down. Like I was there. I'll be honest, since we're honest time, super honesty time. I used to get triggered by people, and they say, well, they push my buttons. And then the thought hit, because I hang out with April Wyatt and the Hounds all the time. Somebody said, why don't you take the buttons off? I didn't even think about that. I was like, can you do that? And that's why I love doing these shows, because y'all know what I'm talking about. I mean, you all been in people business, and you will go nuts trying to wonder why people act the way they do. Better is know how to respond, because you know more so what you tolerate. Like, I'll just walk off. If I see nonsense and I'm like, what do I do? I might leave if that's the best solution. And it's not rude. It's not ego. It's guarding peace. So you're just saying, hey, concern yourself about you. That's what I hear you saying. Right.
Yes. So, just to dovetail on what you said, I actually believe in creating this bubble. So one of the things that's non-negotiable for me is my morning routine, right? So, and I get up every day and I wake up and I'm like, thank you. I get to be a gift and blessing. That is my calibration and my floor. So whenever I am not able to do that, it means that Meshell needs to go take a break. Meshell needs to take a nap. Meshell needs a snack, right? I'm like a child, right? I either need a snack, a nap, or a break, right? So it's one of those three. And that's the only time I'm not able to calibrate. And when I met with people who are difficult, people who are cantankerous, I don't internalize it because I live in a bubble of awesome. I tell people I've spent too many years, too much money, and too much time to be the amazing awesome that I am. You do not get to dictate my awesome. So what's wrong with you, boo?
Oh my goodness.
Not
Well,
me.
before we go to Aura, I want Chrystal to chime in because I don't know if it was you, Chrystal. When I made the comment, normally I don't take calls right now, but I'll talk to you. And that means that I shouldn't be in public. I have the flu. I turned into the biggest man baby you've ever seen in your life. You know, like people who know me, April Wyatt can take a phone call because she's used to me. But I'm not doing no daggum collaboration call when I feel. So it's self-awareness. It's just, hey, show up tomorrow when you feel better and you can put your best foot. You got. I know you're dying to say something, Chrystal, because you know.
Well, I just feel so excited that everything that you're saying, Meshell. I mean, my kids know, like, nope, morning time, nope, don't, no, And I think especially as a single mom, I've had to be like, I love you. This is me time. Or same with business too. It's like we, as founders, owners, entrepreneurs, we forget that we're not Gumby. It's like, you know what? You need that same bubble to just recalibrate and recondition what needs to come next. Comes from a place of groundedness, not from exhaustion, caffeination, and all the things, you know? So
Samantha Burr, Eco Sam. Yes. So I hear it from her too. And she's over here going, thank goodness, because you're saying exactly what she practices. And see, this is what I mean, reinforcement. Because sometimes we do stuff like this and we think we're full of garbage. And then we hear someone else we respect say it and we're like, oh, I'm not crazy after all. I was on to something good, right? Like, Mike shouldn't talk to people before noon. That's a good principle, right? Right. So, because I want to show up with my best self. So thank you for that. Aura, we're going to bring you on up. And do you want to add anything before we get to your question?
I do. As a matter of fact, I agree with Meshell 1,000%. So to me, my morning is extremely important, especially because I deal with a lot of people. So one thing that I didn't mention earlier, apart from being a self-discovery and empowerment coach, I've been a flight attendant for 19 years. It's going to be 19 years this July. And so I get all the time people telling me, oh my God, why are you so happy? Why are you so bubbly? Blah, blah, blah. Well, the reason why is because to me, my connection with myself, super important. Me understanding what I'm feeling, what my body is feeling, what I need for myself, extremely important. And so the more connected you are with yourself, the more you understand yourself, the more you're able to fulfill your own needs, you're going to be in a better position to give your best to others. And I think many times we forget that.
That out. I caught myself on mute. I type like I'm slamming the keyboard like this. So I have to mute it. That's why I do that. And let me ask you your question because I have one for you. Let's see. High achieving women often check every box and still feel off, right? That's what I hear constantly. And men too, but we're focused on women. So we got everything done on the to-do list, but we don't feel right. So what's missing? I know it's a general question, but in your line of expertise and work, what's the common theme for yourself and others? Like, hey, I got it all done. Why did I not feel like all excited and aligned with it?
Yeah. So I've noticed that when high achieving women, they check off the boxes, but still something is off. It's because they're checking boxes that are not theirs to begin with. So at a very young age, we're taught how to be, what to do, what career we should be on. Oh, we should be married by this age, have kids, right? And so when you are living a life based on what someone else thinks success is, that's when you find yourself asking yourself, well, okay, so I did everything that supposedly would make me happy. Why do I still feel the way I feel? Emptiness and all of that. It's because your fulfillment does not come from checking boxes, especially other people's boxes. It comes from alignment. And if you look at the word align, it sounds like a line, one line. What does that mean? You're meant to be one line with yourself, your mind with your soul, right? Your actions, right? Who you're being. And so whenever that alignment is missing, that's when you feel off. That's when you don't feel fulfilled. And so one of the things that I like guiding women to asking themselves is, what will feel good to me at this very moment? What does success mean to me? Because the more we understand what makes us happy and how we define success, the happier we will be. So success or feeling fulfillment is not about saying, okay, so I'm going to let go of the career, let go of the titles. It's not about that. It's about redefining success according to who you are instead of what you have been taught to be.
Oh my goodness. Someone else's checklist. Yeah, that's, hey, I got it done, but that's not what you were born to do, is knock stuff off the list. You were born to create, do what you're due to do. And I love this, that you ladies are giving permission, right? You're saying, hey, if you're not happy, don't shove it off and go, oh, well, you're on this earth for a little bit of time, right, Chrystal? Like, we got things to get done. We got to identify. So I'm going to close with this question, and then I want you ladies, after you answer it, let folks know. Don't be shy, because the hounds will be mad if you don't tell them how they can learn more about you, right? They want to share you. They want to dive in. Who knows? They may have the issue, right? They may want to go check out resources and have that discussion with you. So that's why we want to don't be shy. So here's the closing question, and you ladies go at this from different angles, so there's no right or wrong answer. So what one might say yes and the other might say no, but from your perspective is what I want to cover. So let's go to the all too quiet Chrystal. Hi, good to see you. And let's see, what last? Is identity discovered or built?
Oof. Okay. Meshell's like, let's go. Sorry, we're gonna have a dance party in a different live stream later.
I got the banjo. Let's do it.
Okay, I was thinking, some Beyonce, but you can bring a banjo, Beyonce. We can bring it all together. I think first identity, that's really discovered. Like, that goes back to the core foundations, the values, like who you are, like what you were just saying, or like that piece matters. But then it's built. That's where I think the reverse role happens in today's society. Like, oh, I need a blah, blah, blah. And all of that builds the backwards funnel, right? So then suddenly you're like the Leaning Tower of Pisa made out of toothpicks. You're like, why is this not stable? It's because you're building upon something that's not identified. And when I think about, again, sales is service. And service, if any of you have ever been to a great restaurant where there's great service, you're willing to forgive a lot of the other things, right? You're willing to go, oh, okay, the food's okay, but the service is great. But what we need to do is serve our true identity and then build it from there, and then find the right places in business that serve from our identity and serve the identity of, okay, this is who I am. This is why I built the business, and this is why it matters to someone else, right? And just continue to just really amplify from a place of going back to authenticity, because that's ultimately, you can train systems and service and standards and get better and better at the experiences, but you can't train what is authentically you. You can't train authenticity, right? You can memorize scripts, you can try TikTok, you can do so many things, but the people who consistently build trust and close businesses are the people who know who they are, they know who they serve, and they know that serving them will matter, and that makes a difference. So
wow. Oh my goodness. And you brought up that daggum restaurant. So here, you are so right. Real quick, I know I won't drag it on forever. So I don't know what happened. This is the South Steakhouse. I don't know if New York City brought one here. They had no gravy for any of the items on mashed potatoes. I was like, come on, like that's illegal in Kentucky. And you're absolutely right. The only reason I didn't, act like a grumpy old man is because the server was so great. Oh, I'll go make you some shit. It was like, then I felt bad for even grumping about it, So you're absolutely right. When you show up as you and you're just a servant's heart, and that's your like business thing. Yeah, even the grumpy redneck will like let it go and give you a 5-star review. So well said, my friend. Where can folks go and find you? What do you want to let them know?
You know what? Crystalclifton.com. I made a little page for you, Mike, little hounds, because one thing I believe is that when you do the work, and I love what we're doing here, which is just identifying the truest version of you. It's a start of a new year for those who believe in the Lunar New Year or even just the beginning of a year. So there's a little time to make a manifesto, like what really matters for you. So you go to that website and you go to that link and you can find me and get my little manifesto training. It's really helpful.
Go grab it. Go grab it. She knows her stuff. And now you know her heart. Go tap into the brilliance. And speaking of that, let's go to Meshell. And I can't wait. You about to go. I could tell. You just about to erupt. You erupt, my friend.
You know what? I'm going to have you restate the question because I got so caught up in that awesomeness that Chrystal dropped. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. This is so good.
Oh, yeah.
Get you on the panel.
Yeah. So we're doing about 30, 45 seconds so we can close. Is identity discovered or built from your perspective, from your angle?
Oh, it's absolutely built. So the person that comes to mind, I think about somebody like Beyonce or Bruno Mars. They knew who they were at 3 years old, right? So they still built in by being committed, by being dedicated, by being disciplined, by being consistent to get to the level they wanted to get to. Now, think about that. Most people don't even know who they want to be. So until you know who you want to be, there is no greatness to be found.
There, bingo. I'm sitting there going, y'all both right, because I didn't know I could define success for myself. Yeah. I didn't. I was told by mom and school and everything else. And then at 44 years old or 40 years old, what do I want? I didn't know I was allowed to ask that. Ain't that crazy? So you hit the nail on the head. Where can folks find you? What do you want them to know? What do you work on?
Definitely just reach out to me on LinkedIn. I love to stay connected. And then you can DM me as we get connected, or you can send me a message with the connection request. And I'm, happy to jump on a call with you, 15 minutes, and you will be on fire. That's what I do, is I ignite confidence. So just reach out and say you want a quick chat, and I'll send you a link for 15 minutes and change your life forever. Forever. Yeah.
I don't think anybody's going to doubt this panel can do it. That's it. And here's the good news real quick. If they ain't the right folks, like nobody on this panel is going to sell a vegan steak dinner. That's what I love about it. You're going to say, wait a minute, you need to go do this first. That's the hound's way. And I can already tell. So thank you. Let's go to Aura, because we got don't no one leave. We have two amazing ladies coming in from a different perspective. Do not leave. And then we got Canadian South up in the house. So y'all definitely don't want to miss this. So Aura, what is it for you in your perspective, right? Is the identity, what comes first, chicken or the egg? Is it built or is it discovered?
I think it's both. And it all depends on where the person is. It's discovered because you have to see yourself clearly, right? You have to see what you're made of. And then once you get clear in who you are, depending on where you are in your life, you may need to build the confidence muscles. You may need to build the self-worth muscles. So I think it's both, depending on where the person is in their own journey.
See, now I'm going to make a note.
But I stopped because I know it's 30 seconds.
Did you time yourself? You was like 29. Stop. You were amazing. Oh, my goodness. Well, ladies, you all are extraordinary. And I appreciate you coming, taking the time today to share with all these amazing hounds, the ladies, and then the men, right? We got a lot of men support running around. That's what we should do. So thank you so, so much. Meshell, you're amazing. Chrystal, oh, you even had Dr. Rowe pop in. Wow, that's a busy lady. So Dr. Rowe, I saw you. Did you see me go like this? That was that. So thank you, my friend, for the introduction to Chrystal and Meshell. Wow. My goodness, you ladies are fire. There could be a collab here. You want to do a part 2? Let's talk. All right. So let's do it. We're going to say goodbye. So now's the time to wave. I like to do this. It's weird, isn't it? All right. So nobody leave. Thank you all so much. You're amazing. All right. Bring them on up before everybody thinks we're over. There we go. Now we're going straight into panel 2, because this kind of put the icing on the cake with panel 1, and it's got its own flavor. And I want to introduce these amazing ladies. Amy Cornforth Long. Oh my goodness. I said some crazy stuff in October and she liked it. So yeah. And again, reinvention, identity. She had a great career. I'll let her talk for herself, but that whole, look, I want to live. Right? And she had such courage to do the crazy stuff it takes to build, reinvent, and all of that jazz again. Not because she had to, more impressive because she wanted to. That's the key, because she wanted to do more. And what an amazing person. And then, and my rendition, Britton. All right, I met Britton, and we met at Podfest. So me and D. Scott Smith, big Texas, right? He's standing there in his big Texas outfit and his big hat, and I'm looking like me, like I always do. And these two ladies come around looking like D. Scott, and it's like they looked and were like, "Let's go talk to them first." Like we're the only dudes looking similar to us, and so that's how we picked them up, Podfest. And so anyway, Amy, let's start with you, my friend. Tell the folks what you do, who you serve, what you're about.
Hey, Mike. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
My pleasure.
I'm a law firm leadership consultant and author of The Subtle Art of Leadership. I work with law firm owners to help them transform and reclaim their time so that they can take that time and spend it, whether it's more time on their business or just have it for personal reasons.
Yeah, because you Esquire. How long have you been in the law game for?
It's going on 21 years this May. I'll be a licensed attorney. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't argue with this woman. Are you kidding me? Like, she will shred me. Thank God she likes me. But you bring a wealth of knowledge to what you're doing today, and that is invaluable. So we're going to get into it, because if anybody knows about this subject, my goodness, it's you ladies. Britton, I am so thrilled to see you, my friend. It's strange because you're not wearing your hat and you wear it more than I do. But we had some hat issues. Somebody, we'll have to file an insurance claim because of damages, but we'll get it. So
yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. My name is Britton, as introduced. I come with a tagline. It's just like the country. So I would say I am more your gal Friday when it comes to horses. I know that might come across a little bit different, but I'm an equine practitioner, clinician, journalist, and Western media contributor dedicated to supporting performance and biomechanics and education for owners and horses. So it's a little bit different, but I try to champion Western heritage through published journalism, live presentations, different digital storytelling, all that fun stuff. And I try to build community in that industry through multiple avenues, including having a podcast, like you had mentioned, being at Podfest, which is called Uncinched. And then I do clinics and just media work in general.
Okay, so somebody told me years ago, he said, Mike, if you ever go to Canada, you need to go to Alberta. I said, why?
Yes.
Because that's Canadian redneck land. That's the South. And I didn't believe it until we met, because you are from Alberta, right? And I'm like,
Yes.
dude, I got to go to Alberta. Oh my gosh. So, but very interesting. Today, this panel, we're going to kind of go to the second phase, right? Structure, sustainability, and scalable leadership. That's why you ladies were chosen for this. So, Amy, we're going to go straight to you. What happens when leaders try to scale before they're structurally ready? Oh my God, I have egg on my face already. Go ahead. Don't hold back.
Yeah, I heard that lag. That's okay. We'll forgive you.
I cry at night, but what you finish the sentence.
The weaknesses get exposed. The leadership weaknesses get exposed. That's in simple what happens, and everyone can refer to it as different things. It's commonly called, like, it's clear where the bottleneck is. And, I was talking with a law firm owner a few weeks ago, and they described being a bottleneck, having the office as like a merry-go-round, everything having to come through them. And so that's what gets exposed when you are scaling too fast without the structures, is the missing expectations, people not understanding what is in your head. They can't figure it all out, everything having to go through you, having things set up as like black and white, all or nothing. Something really pervasive is the concept of being clear. And I talk about that in my newsletter. No one can be clear. Your job is to clarify. And those are two separate things. And so your mindsets around your team and how you're building and leading, that's what gets exposed when you scale too fast.
Yeah, well, and is that do you think, for the most part, do people realize it, or is it kind of creep up on them? Is it like, hey, I see that and I'm just going to ignore it and I'm better than that? Or is it just something that you're trying to figure out after something happened?
Well, I think everybody's different. I think for the most part, everyone is doing their absolute best and they want the best for their business and for their team. And we're all subject to the idea that we don't know when we're in our own way and we often can't get out of our own way. And the only way to get out of your own way is to have a conversation with someone that can see you're in your own way and help you.
Last question before we go to Britain, but is there a certain place, like where do leaders become the bottleneck? Like, is there a certain like generality where they get in their own way where, or is it just really just up to the person and situation?
Well, a very common one would be decisions, wanting to be able to sign off and see everything. Because when you start out, especially if you start as a solopreneur, but if you start as a solopreneur or if you start out and you have a few people, in the beginning, you are in charge of all the decisions and you feel like everything is on your shoulders. The bottom line is always with you. And then as you grow, you let go of responsibility, but not always the right amount of authority or autonomy or any decision making. And a lot of people have trouble thinking of decisions on a spectrum. Decisions are not all or nothing. And as long as you're thinking of them like that, you're going to retain that bottleneck identity.
Right. Yeah. We were working on Women's Month, and that's the I said, because I was so used to it, I didn't want to do it, but I had to do everything, right? I had to be the guy who answered the phone and took the trash out, and but then April and Supermom got together, and I didn't even blink. I was like, listen, when you have confident people that are willing to go to bat, you let them do their thing, right? Like it was I thought I'd have an issue. I couldn't wait. I'm like, who else wants to delegate? Who else wants to do something? And some of that fear is really in our heads. Once you understand it, once you think it through, and that's why you're so good, because you've been there. You understand, especially for professionals, law firms, licensed professionals, you get it. Right? You speak the language. You've done it for decades. So yeah, we're just getting this party started, you guys. Britain, I'm going to go to you now because you're in a very male-dominated industry, right? And a very close-knit when it comes to equine, and a lot of farms and things are passed down from generations. And you're really a massive innovator in a male-dominated industry. I find it remarkable. So how has instinct shaped your authority, right? What are some of the insights here?
That was a great question. Instinct in general is very foundational to my work, simply because when you are with horses, they can't communicate in the same way as humans can. So you have to be very intentional, and they survive off of instinct, that fight or flight, which people sometimes do too. And so it's really important to know, like horses, for example, don't respond to your ego. They don't respond to what you kind of dominate with that way. They respond to the feel and the intentions that are behind, your actions. And so that sensitivity has shaped how I lead and how I speak with humans. So as you mentioned, I am in a very male dominated industry, and that means there can be pressures to be louder, to be more forceful, to command authority, because a lot of men, that's how they choose to do it. And that can be the instinct of it. But my instinct, honestly, is to never push to that point. Don't get into that direction. My authority isn't built on being louder. It's not built on having the last word in the room. It's built on clarity and consistency of my messaging and my brand. At the same time, I really don't believe that instinct is infallible. It can often tell us the wrong thing, just like with horses. Sometimes if you push too hard, their immediate reaction is to be scared, and it doesn't need to happen that way. So my instinct has to be sharpened through my experiences. Critical thinking, reflection. Reflection is such a big one in business, just for everybody. And I try to nurture that by pairing it with, rational thought, the years of education that I've invested within my field, as well as asking questions and listening to those in my field who have been there longer, because I am young. And if I try to act like they don't have, things to teach me, I'm going to miss out on some really good, nuggets of gold. It's just basically creating informed intuition, if that makes sense.
Oh my,
So, yeah.
it makes perfect sense because I'm going to take a U-turn because I can only imagine Amy's like, oh, let's go here. Yes, Amy, I picked it up. Oak tree and a sea of tumbleweeds. And seriously, at such a young age, I figured it out like last year, right? I'm going to be 45. So bravo. You're not trying to win the room. Is that right? You're
Yeah.
not trying to impress and be a guy and all this stuff. You're like, listen, this is my passion. Here's who I am. This is what I choose to do. And so you're going to attract maybe one or two people that go, her, right? Yeah, and you're not going to compromise for anything, but you're open and humble. Like now I've got to go to Amy. All right. All right. I can imagine in professional, professionally licensed place and all this. Where do you weigh in on this? Because it's easier said than done. It's good to go on a live stream and say, be yourself. But when you're in a law firm or a courtroom or some kind of, where there's expectations, gosh, it could go south fast, or you question things, or, where's your take on this?
I mean, I'm a believer that you got to be yourself. I'm kind of known for seeing things differently. I've always been called outside the box.
That's why I like it.
There was something I want to mention from the first panel that about confidence and certainty. So I say confidence actually comes from uncertainty instead of certainty. Because confidence comes from uncertainty. When you're experiencing uncertainty, what you're doing is you are staying with it when you don't know what to do. You are building that muscle of actual confidence. You are making your way through those new experiences, those judgment calls. And those are all things that, when I was developing confidence and found that I had confidence, it was a reflection of going through extreme moments of uncertainty. Because the certainty actually is more of, I already know what's going on here. And so I don't, back to your original question, outside the box. I mean, some people will say, I just have a contrarian view. And I think you just have to lean into that I can't help it.
I think you are the example, right? So you're a kind of a pioneer and a reinventor, and so for you to kind of be a conformist would be weird, right? It's just like, could you imagine, Britain trying to stomp around like she's a 7-foot tall dude? It's weird, she doesn't need to do that, right? Nobody wants her to do that. So you're saying get in where you fit in and embrace it, and that's what I liked about you. You didn't try anything; you were just you, and then you evolved and you figured things out, and you tell it like it is. And I'm not a snowflake anymore, so it was really easy for me because you just tell it like it is. I'm like, well, I know where I stand with folks like that, But go ahead, because I know you got some brilliant.
Hey, I embarrassed myself yesterday, today, and I will tomorrow. So whatever.
I give a lot of grace because I need a lot of grace. That's the way it works. Like when somebody goes, hey, I'm going to give him a pass. Well, you just got cool points with me, right? Because y'all see me, and I'm not. Look, I have good qualities. I'm a good dude. I got a lot of good stuff going on, but I also have a lot of stuff I don't like to slip out. And we all do. That's the whole point. It's not even in spite of. I love what you said. It was the unconfident moments that, the uncertainty that made you stand out. I just went through that. This whole year has been like Mr. Magoo if the bad shit actually happened to him. Like, I'm like, what is going on? But I have gratitude because if it wasn't for that, I wasn't going to get up one day and say, let me change everything. Nobody does that. If you're comfortable, but when you're uncomfortable, oh, now you're going to find out what you're made of. And that's what I hear you saying, right?
Those are your moments of decision when you find it out.
Right. And I would have to venture, go back to Britain. It takes way more courage for you to stand solid as who you are, who you choose to be, around a bunch of folks that, our guys are different, right? And that to me is so. Do you notice that people lean into you once they understand how strong you really are? When you're not trying to perform and do all this shit to fit it, do you see people go, hey, I really like her?
Actually, that's a great question because I just came back from Arizona literally yesterday. And I was doing presentations and I wasn't trying to be anyone but me. And if I didn't know the answer to a question, I was very upfront with that. And people were like, well, I appreciate when you said, oh, I'm uncertain of that answer. I'd need to know more. And they responded more positively than I think if I had just tried to pretend that I knew what was going on. Because sometimes people will bring to the table with presentations, they'll say, hey, this is happening with my horse. Tell me what's going on. And unfortunately, I'm not a miracle pill. I can't fix that without feeling it and seeing actually what's going on. And so I'm very upfront with that. And then I found that I had a lot more people actually coming to my presentations after that. And they would talk to me and say, I appreciated that you weren't just trying to give me a BS answer, if that's even makes sense, where I was just like, oh, I need more information and I need more to think about before I give you an answer for that. And I think a lot of people really appreciate it.
Hey, the right people appreciate it, right? Like you might come in, Amy might come in and do Amy, and like 8 people go no, but then the 2 that stay, that's the one she wanted in the first place, like a pool filter, right? Like
yeah, totally.
Yeah, because I can imagine people like, I don't like that. I loved it. That's why you're here. I'm like, well, I like it. I like authentic. I like truth, right? Like other people may not, and that's the calling card. You 2 ladies really define this very, very well. You do the hard work, figure it out. Right. Once we do the identity work we just talked about in panel 1, now the next step is sustainable model, right? Like you got the horse before the cart. Now build out the funnels, build out the systems. What Fortune 50 company or successful entity doesn't have systems? That's what clicked in my head like 3 months ago. I'm like, dude, you can't run this on dreams and passion. You have to up level like a Fortune 50 company does. And then the strangest thing happened. I loved it. I was like, why have I been running from this for so long? This is great. Just move the structure, right? Like just tighten the ship. So, because I don't listen to Amy, because she's probably been telling me that for 6 months. But all right, ladies, I want to tie this question back to panel 1, right? Because it kind of picks up where it left off and they kind of merge. Amy, we'll start with you. How do you build systems that reflect identity instead of suppress it then?
I think it's just a really simple word. It's reflection. And
Nice.
The only way to get through that identity is to reflect on what you want. And we could talk about that being your expectations and your visions. There's a lot you could go into it, but the number one thing is if you want to reflect identity, you have to do a deep amount of reflection and you have to do it consistently. You can't rely on it just being one time, and you can't rely on what comes to you through outer measurements. Like, I know there's a lot of personality type tests out there and registrations you can do to learn about yourself. And I'm not against those. But what I always say is first reflect on who you say you are first before you let a system tell you who you are, and then mesh those together. And that would be simple down to like your expectations. Mike, you're a leader and you lead a team, so you have expectations of yourself, you have expectations of your team has expectations of you, in case you didn't know that. And they have expectations of themselves, and those are 4 different things. And in order to reflect the identity, you have to go through all of that, and then you want to put those together because you don't want to just you don't want just them meeting your expectations. You want to meet their expectations, and you want to know, what are you saying you're going to hold yourself accountable for too? What is your identity? And you want to be able to reflect that.
That's a mic drop. I can't say anything because she's that gum straight. Well, and also on that line, a lot of humble, because you gave us a format. You gave us a whole pile of information you sent me. And I did my thing, did my AI stack, and it turned out to give us the best networking we've ever seen, right? So when we're talking about structures and sustainability and models, it's not, this is a result of that. If people feel comfortable and they're like, hey, I can bring stuff to you. Well, you just got brilliant free information from the brain of Amy, right? Like I've never in a million years figured that out. It was that kind of thing. So you'll get benefits. Because when I used to think of sustainability models, I think of HR departments, bureaucracy, and crap, and we're not talking about that. We're talking about things that will enhance what you're all about. That's, hey, how do I do better in my practice? How do I serve better? Team, clients, everybody. Because all that money in marketing, it can be amplified when people go, man, I love them. Just like Chrystal was saying, right? Hey, I was mad because there wasn't no gravy, but I forgot all about that because that server was so amazing. I feel like an asshole for even asking about gravy. And there you go. Britton, so let me ask you this. Your question, back to you. How do you build systems that reflect identity instead of suppress it?
So I took this question a little bit in a different way and kind of applied it to me exactly. But I try to build all my systems around who I actually am. I'm not trying to build what it is easiest for Mike or Amy or, Aura or anybody like that. I build it around who I am and what works for me. Because that's the only way it's going to work out. And that means that you're constantly evolving those systems as you change or as you grow. So my systems, for example, will be a little bit more warm, definitely relationship driven, just because that's how I experience life. And because connection matters to me and my brand voice, my client experience, these processes, they're all built around the belief, that people want to feel heard and respected. It's one of my taglines. And so I build things around that. And my systems are also quite structured, detailed, and I try to be as professional as possible because that's the person I am. I'm a very type A person. I literally have OCD. And so I need those systems to be working around that way. So it builds my brand identity through the identity that is me as a person. In horses, let's talk about suppression creates tension, whether it's in their body, in their mind, anything like that. And that same applies to your business. If you're suppressing who you are as an individual to fit in a box of a system that works for somebody else, you're going to create disalignment, like you're operating past that alignment and you're surpassing your identity, and it'll create burnout. You'll start resenting that work. So that's, I guess, my question for anybody when they're trying to create these systems. Does this feel like me? Does this reflect my values and my company's voice? Would I be proud of these in 5 years? And if these are all yes, it stays. If not, you redefine it.
Wow, you ladies, I should just sit the mic here and let y'all, you don't need me here. Y'all are killing it. So Amy, anything you like to add to that? Because wow, I mean, you ladies are like playing ping pong.
To do otherwise, you might die a slow death inside. Just say that. She's on point. So I agree with everything. And I worked at 2 different Fortune 100 companies, and they can be pretty brutal. And I've been there in moments where I wasn't true to myself. I know exactly how that feels. I know how it feels to, be sweating through your shirt, through anxiety and pressure, and feeling like you have to bend your own core values and principles because of the decisions you're having to make. You're having to choose. So I've been in those environments, and it's you will never thrive like that. You have to be true to who you are, which is exactly what you said.
Right. And I'll throw this out here. Give me your thoughts on this, and then tell folks what you're working on, where to find you, and we'll make sure we flash it on the screen. But one of the things, Amy, you've actually had an influence in this. I was afraid if I automated, I would lose my authenticity. I was afraid if I put things in place like processes or funnels that I would, lose my edge or become robotic and not have that people feel. And I was dead wrong. Right. But what is your thoughts there? Because a lot of people, especially like entrepreneurs, folks who are licensed professionals, attorneys, they have a small practice, something like that, and they may feel it too. They're like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want my clients that I value to feel like a number. So what is some of your like best wisdom to get their mindset to that right frame before they read your book, before they talk to you? Like, what is some of the insights you found? Like, hey, think of it this way.
Oh, well, my number one insight would be a mindset that I would stress. And I talk about it in my book. It's called Baby Bird Steps. Small
Dana White stuff.
things. So I've already touched on this. Don't make it all or nothing, you know? And what Baby Bird Steps is about small pieces, one small piece at a time. When you're trying to move from you doing everything, all of that control, to someone else. So right now you're thinking of it as I have 100% of this decision, and you are challenging yourself internally thinking I have to delegate 100% of this decision. But that is not true. What you can do is you can change your mindset and say, how can this decision become 10 steps, 2 steps, whatever? What piece can I let someone else have? What piece of control, so where then I'm not doing so much. I'm giving away some of my time so that I can put it towards the business and do something else. And then I still maintain what I need in order to feel confident in how things are working without double checking everything. But that includes also going back to what we've talked about several times, is getting what's in your head, which is often hard, out and clear for others, getting those expectations out.
It was in your book because I'm sitting there trying to find it all slick like, and nobody, but that's
April
where
knows where it is.
Yeah, no, because I had the idea the other day. I was like, oh, what if I mess up and it doesn't work? And I was like, dude, just tell everybody, hey, this is a beta test. This is an experiment. I hope it works, but it might not. And I was just clear. And people are like, all right, let's go fail if that's what's going to happen. Who knew? You always have to have it right. No, you don't. Nobody in there expects me to have everything right. That's why I have y'all around. Like, if I have 100 holes in my boat, y'all fill them. I have my own qualities. The rest of the 99%, I rely on you. And that's what works. And if you run your business and your mindset, dude, you swim downstream. You don't have all the problems other law firms and other entities and things could have because you're intentional, right? That's what you're doing. You're like, look, I've already made all the mistakes. I've seen all the nonsense. I can help people bring this together. And and you've helped us do that. So that's why I'm honored to have you here, because I want to share you with other folks. So what do you want people to know? Where can they find you again?
Find me on LinkedIn. I'm there. You can find my book on Amazon. And on LinkedIn, I also have a newsletter called Subtle Art of Leadership. I'm introducing a new series in a few weeks that'll be founder focused, heavy with law firm founders, doing interviews. I've been conducting a lot of interviews. And while I have you live, Mike, I am going to call you out and say that we are going to talk about that grid. We are going to talk about that 3x3.
Good.
Your people need it.
Every time you talk, I learn. So whatever, man. Even if I got to be humble, whatever. You gave us the holy grail to the networking. Hey, and again, let us know. Put it out there in the hounds, because we want to share this. We want to share who you are. People now know that, and they know you're brilliant. And people are struggling. So the only reason they're not calling you or learning and reaching into your articles and things, because they don't know it exists. So thank you today. Thank you for showing up all the time. You show up, you do good things for people, and that's why they're happy to share you back. And it's an honor to have you, my friend. So yeah, don't leave. Don't change the channel yet. We're going to say, Britton, what do you want to share? Because you are in a very unique, you do podcasting, you're in all the equine stuff. So when it comes to anything we talked about, sustainability, right? Identity, leadership, what would you like to part, to someone that's maybe struggled where you are, right? Maybe they're on that path and they're just a little uncertain. What do you want to share with them?
I'm going to share that, you need to make sure that you are building a strong foundation to create influence, and to understand your identity. Because if you don't have an identity or a brand identity, you are setting yourself up for issues. I think that's the best way to put it. having no influence is neutral, and it may limit your reach, and reach obviously is important, but it doesn't actively cause harm. If you have no substance behind your influence and your identity, that's powerful in a wrong way. So it can help shape your decisions if you know your identity. It can help shape your spending, your training methods, your reputation, help build your egos and all that thing. So those are really important. Make sure your identity is clear and true to you. I think that's the best thing that I can impart on anyone.
Speaking of identity, I want to see your driver's license. There's no way you're in your 20s with that wisdom. Come on. All right. And yes, I'm projecting April Wyatt. I'm projecting my 20-year-old self. It was like compared to 2-year-old. So, wow, you ladies are phenomenal. I tell you what, if April's not shy and Aura wants to pop back up, want to make sure everybody says goodbye. Thank you all so much for everything, for who you are. It's a privilege to be able to share you, spotlight you. Again, who you are as well as what you do. So, my goodness gracious. And I think Aura, maybe it's bedtime. It's 8:15. So I appreciate you all staying late. But real quick, April Wyatt, thank you for running the backstage. I want to be present with our guests and really, be there. Thank you for being there for the comments and taking care of the folks who are here. Thank you for your comments, folks. If you want more and you want to take this to the next level, you see the value of the right room tonight with these brilliant heart-centered ladies. There's your invitation. She Wins March, right? Go to you can go to my features section. I'll put it in the comments as soon as we're done. Go to YouTube, Hounds of Business, and join the party. Join the celebration. We'll bring you more live streams each week. We got 3 more, and they're just going to keep going next level, right? We're going to keep stacking on the themes, keep bringing you amazing folks like this. And men too. Hey, remember, behind every good man's a good woman. When we're flipping that, all right, behind every good woman's good men. So we're going to be back there supporting the ladies, restreaming, supporting, coming in. If you got giveaways, now's the time to DM us. DM me, DM April. Supermom, she's leading up the charge on the Zoom call. Y'all come as your best self, leave as better self, more energized self, more dialed in self, more connected self. That's what it's about. You don't have to perform. You just have to show up and be you, dadgummit. So thank you all. Love you to death. Saw 8 gazillion comments. That's music to my country ears. If you're curious about what all the fuss is about, you're interested in the hounds, I have a group call. All right. DM me. Let's have a chat. Let's see if that works. And no more strays out there, right? You are somebody, right? But you need the people resource support to get it done. That's why we're doing this. So thank you to all the collaborators. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, panel. Thank you, folks in the comments. Hounds, you're amazing. All right. So we're going to be done with this next week. Oh, wow. Y'all be ready. I'm telling you, we're going to bring the heat again, y'all. So we'll see you next time. Same time, same channel. And I think I'm done. April, you got anything to add except?
No, this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, ladies. Everyone that showed up to support them and us. And it's just really been an inspirational event. So thank you again, Amy. Thank you, Britton. It was lovely meeting you. Aura and Chrystal and Meshell. And there's one more I forgot. No, I got it all, Amy says.
Hey.
Okay. Yay.
I don't count. Yeah.
And thank you everyone for chiming in. It was so good to see everyone. Lachelle's here, Linda and Charlie and Beverly. I could name everybody, but we all appreciate you being here. So yes, together we're better.
Daggum straight. Well, my friend, you worked the backstage. It's Women's Month. Would you like to push the outro button?
Oh, look at me.
Are you really? All right. Let's do it. We'll see you all next time. All right. Next week.
Be well, everyone.
Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.